Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan, and we're swinging up and to the right. Many alts are in the dark green with double-digit gains. If you're well diversified, no doubt you're doing what I'm doing, and I'm doing it more often than I have for a very long time, and that's checking prices. Bitcoin is back over 43,000. XRP is just almost touching 64 cents. Arbitrum up 14%. Optimism up 29%. But in this video, we're going to take a look at XDC. They had an announcement. I think the biggest the Zinfin group has ever had. And it's up, as you can see, almost 12%. And gosh, it's got some good momentum. But first, I'm going to give you an update on the attack of spam on the XRP Ledger. If you listen to XRP channels and they're ignoring this, I think I'd ask why. So today, around 3 p.m. Japan time, this XRPL address, which was reported with a fraud alert, has become quiet, finally. The continuous spamming of that one drop of XRP has finally stopped. Richard Holland, the CTO at XRPL Labs, he's the lead architect of Hooks, Zahao, and Evernode. Many tell me that he's the best developer they've ever met, a very gifted programmer, and a technical advisor to the XRPL Foundation. He made a few valuable comments in a thread. He did say that he wasn't particularly worried about the ledger during this whole thing, but lots of other people were. The transaction queue and the fee escalation code worked properly since it was fixed from the last time, and he believes this situation proved that. I pointed out a tweet that came from David Schwartz, the CTO of Ripple, earlier this year, April of this year, where he said that they had never seen 1,500 transactions per second on the live XRP Ledger. He did suspect, however, that with the current configuration, it would probably sustain about 300 to 500. But we saw with this spamming situation, it pretty much got stuck around 50. This has caught a lot of people by surprise. And what Richard Holland went on to say is that Ripple, the software which runs XRP Ledger, desperately needs a comprehensive review and cites 4 specifics, all that could raise the transaction limit. But this requires an appropriate investment of skilled engineering hours to fix, and it's a long-standing technical debt, he says. He then asks a genuine question. If you could have 5 to 10 things added to the XRP Ledger that other chains already have, what would that be? And yes, a lot of people said smart contracts. Vet here said builders. Weitza Win said developers. Cryptic Gentleman went on to say that, guess the question is, after all this time, why doesn't the XRP Ledger have many builders? What is it about XRPL exactly? And Weitza replied, XRPL is centralized. Not. No token issuing or DEX. False. It's been there since forever. Uncertainty with the SEC suit against Ripple. Mostly irrelevant in his opinion. And no smart contracts. Well, the tech is now there, and he's talking about Zahao. So most of all, he said, it's a lack of knowledge about what the XRPL really is. He's talked to so many misinformed people in his 5-6 years being in the XRPL ecosystem. He says it's absurd. Most have no idea what the XRPL has to offer. So, he goes on to say, I guess the biggest problem is the controversy, misinformation, confusion about the origin, and the lack of public knowledge about the XRPL, what it is and can do and could do for all these years. And Yassin Mubarak says, 100%. This is probably the biggest reason why XRP has not experienced major growth yet within the crypto community like Ethereum and Solana have. Money GCC, he says it's because the majority of, you can see the word there, are too busy trying to figure out riddles, thinking it's their answer to unlimited wealth rather than realize what the ledger actually is. Bias Goose, who is another really talented developer, said would have moved the last bullet point to first if in order of magnitude. And he's talking about the bullet points that Witsa put here. So he thinks having no smart contracts has held back the ledger the most. I want to jump to MicroStrategy, where they announced that they're going to acquire an additional 14,620 Bitcoin. They now hold over 189,000 Bitcoin. Unbelievable. Now listen to another unbelievable clip. It's a mashup that I put together to show you the wide span of opinions with the people who are in this Bitcoin ecosystem. First starting with Perianne Boring, the founder of the Chamber of Digital Commerce. Have a listen.
The fiat system does not represent the values that I hold as an American or as a Christian. But there's good news. Galatians 5:1 tells us it is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Bitcoin is freedom-enabling technology. Woo. Bitcoin allows us to have more control over our money. It gives us a greater chance to have financial independence and more freedom from the state so that we can teach as many people as possible that Bitcoin is the most honest and moral form of money available to humanity today.
Cryptocurrencies, they're not really money, right? So there's a few things that you have to be money, and one of those is have a stable value. So if you've saved 20 grand, you don't want it to be worth 5 grand the following week because Elon Musk tweeted something. So they're kind of a speculative investment, really. A little bit of gambling is involved in there, but they're not really money.
Is Bitcoin digital money? Yeah. Is it digital property? Yeah. Is it digital energy? Yeah.
You're not going to replace Bitcoin with something that's only a little bit better. It's going to have to be materially better in order to replace Bitcoin. And someday that'll come. If people don't want to use it because it's too hard to shift to it, it just means we didn't make it good enough. And we have to make it good enough that it warrants all those switching costs. So if there's no form of money that comes that's better than Bitcoin that would warrant those switching costs, they won't switch. But technology just kind of has this way of having a version 2. I don't know if it's 50 years or 100 years or 200 years. I think it's quite likely we will see something that's significant, some significant change eventually. Yeah, like I think there will be upgrades. Yes, I do.
Think there will be upgrades?
Again, I don't think people need to be afraid of that.
There was a massive announcement today, and it involves SBI Holdings Japan, the subsidiary of that company, SBI VC Trade, that's the exchange, the XDC network, and Impel, which is going to facilitate the Corda blockchain bridge. Wow, I'll tell you, this is an official joint venture where they have formed the SBI XDC Network APAC Corporation. They're going to expand the XDC network technology centered on trade finance and cross-border payments. This announcement deserves a dedicated video, which I will do. But for today, I'm going to let an information video about Impel and how they facilitate this bridge because they are a key component to this SBI, Corda, and XDC joint venture. All right, everybody, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.
Hello, this is a video demonstration on how you can use Impulse Bridge project. This project is about transferring native XDC from the XDC network to R3 Cordite app and back. The provenance of XDC native is on the XDC network. Before we start using Impulse Bridge UI, let's first mention the respective UIs for each network. So for the XDC network, we have XDC Pay. Let's log in. We are currently connected on the mainnet, and XDC Pay holds a list of accounts and their respective private keys, and holds the balances and the transactions that we have done using XDC Pay with this account. And it's an easy way to integrate with other UIs, as we will see in a bit. On the Cordite side, on the Corda network, we have the Cordite UI, which you can log in, and you can see that we currently have some accounts, and this is the receiving account that we will use in the demo. So we can see that there is some balance here, and there are the respective transactions, and we will talk about this in a bit. So now that we know how we can connect to each network using its respective UI, let's say that I am an XDC network user and I would like to send one XDC from my XDC address to a Cordite address. So the first thing I need to do is to connect my XDC Pay to the mainnet and select the account. I will select this account, which already has 88.9 XDC, and I will use the Impulse Bridge UI to connect to my account through XDC Pay. As we can see, if I change the account, it will change also on the Bridge UI. So let's use this account, and let's say I would like to send one XDC to a destination address in Cordite. Is the destination address. So the destination is Cordite, the network name is mainnet, and let's hit send. So XDC Pay prompts us to approve this transaction, and if we do that, $8.99, we went down one XDC and we went up one XDC on Cordite side, on the Bluetooth address. You can also see that on the transaction page that this took place, okay? So now that we have successfully moved one XDC, let's say that we are a Cordite user that would like to send, let's say, 2 XDCs from our Cordite address to a specific XDC address. So how we would do that? This is the destination address, so we will send from Bluetooth to this address, again, which is the one connected through XDC Pay, and we will select an asset, and let's say 2. So we would see that this would go 2 up, and this would go 2 down. So if we do that, we would see that when the transaction happens, it takes a bit of a time. It goes 2 up, and this went 2 down. And we can also see on the transaction list that this is a receive. We can see the transaction details and view it on block scan, as we can do on the send tab also. So this wraps up the demo about how you can send 2 and from XDC network and Cordite app, native XDC which has provenance in the XDC network. Thank you very much.